What if I told you that when embarking on an extraordinary journey planned to last only 8 days, you suddenly find yourself trapped for 8 months in a completely inhospitable and isolated environment? This is the terrifying reality faced by two NASA astronauts, Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams, who found themselves in a situation few could have imagined. What was supposed to be a quick, straightforward mission to the International Space Station, ISS, turned into an odyssey that will test not only their skills as astronauts, but also the limits of the human body and the technology that fuels our ambition to explore the cosmos. These astronauts were sent to the ISS aboard Boeing's Starliner capsule, a vehicle that's part of NASA's efforts to diversify transportation to low Earth orbit. The initial mission was supposed to last just 8 days, performing tests and experiments on the station. However, technical problems with the capsule and logistical complications forced NASA to make the tough decision to keep the astronauts on the station for 8 months. This unexpected extension has brought to light a series of complex challenges that now need to be effectively managed. Life on Earth has accustomed us to one constant: gravity. It keeps our bodies and bodily fluids in place, determines the force required for movement, and even influences how our bones and muscles develop. In space, this constant vanishes, and the human body faces microgravity conditions that cause drastic, sometimes harmful, changes. One of the first things that happens is fluid redistribution. On Earth, gravity pulls our bodily fluids downward, but in space, these fluids redistribute unevenly. This causes swelling in the upper body, including the head, which can increase intracranial pressure. This pressure can compress the optic nerve, leading to vision problems, a condition known as visual impairment intracranial pressure, VIIP syndrome. For astronauts who rely on perfect vision to perform their tasks accurately, this presents a significant risk. Moreover, without the constant pull of gravity to challenge our muscles and bones, they begin to deteriorate. Astronauts must exercise rigorously for several hours a day to combat this atrophy. Yet muscle mass and bone density loss remain persistent problems. Imagine an elite athlete suddenly finding it impossible to lift weights that were once easy. This is the reality for astronauts who spend extended periods in space. These exercises, while crucial, don't perfectly replicate Earth's conditions, meaning astronauts often return to Earth with weaker bones and muscles, requiring weeks or even months to regain their full strength. In space, astronauts are outside the protective shield of Earth's atmosphere and magnetic field, exposing them to dangerous levels of cosmic radiation. This radiation comes from various sources, including the sun and distant space explosions. Unlike a sunburn, cosmic radiation can penetrate deeply into the body, damaging DNA and increasing cancer risk, along with other long-term health issues. To grasp the severity of this situation, we can draw an analogy to workers exposed to radiation during the Chernobyl disaster. Although the doses are different, the principle is the same. Prolonged exposure to radiation, even at relatively low levels, can have devastating effects. In space, continuous exposure to cosmic radiation is a constant concern, and astronauts must be closely monitored for signs of damage. Imagine being constantly exposed to an invisible sun, emitting radiation at levels far higher than on Earth. While astronauts perform their daily tasks in space, they must rely on the support of their spacecraft and protective equipment, but the concern over the long-term effects of this exposure never goes away. This makes every decision to remain in space a matter of extreme caution, as the effects might only manifest years or even decades after returning to Earth. Being isolated in space for so long can be compared to a prolonged period of solitary confinement. In addition to being far from their families and friends, astronauts are also limited in their social interactions, depending mainly on video calls and messages to communicate with the outside world. The psychological pressure of being in such an extreme environment, without the possibility of a quick evacuation, can lead to feelings of anxiety, depression, and stress. We can compare this situation to scientists who spend months confined in research stations in Antarctica. Although the conditions are different, the sense of isolation and psychological challenges are similar. For astronauts, however, isolation is heightened by the vastness of space and the distance from Earth, which can amplify these effects. Imagine being in a place where, if something goes wrong, the nearest help is millions of miles away. That's the harrowing reality for astronauts. Additionally, the monotonous and repetitive routine in space can be mentally exhausting. Unlike Earth, where we can enjoy a variety of environments and activities, astronauts are confined to a limited space, performing tasks that, while crucial, can become tedious over time. They need to find ways to stay motivated and engaged, which isn't always easy in such a restrictive environment. This constant battle against boredom and loneliness is an essential part of life in space, but one that we, as spectators on Earth, rarely see. Despite these challenges, the mission of these astronauts is far from in vain. Every day they spend in space teaches us more about how the human body adapts to extreme conditions, knowledge that will be essential for future missions to Mars and beyond. Space exploration is ultimately a necessity for humanity, a vital step in our journey to expand our horizons and ensure long-term survival. Companies like Boeing, SpaceX, and Blue Origin are at the forefront of this new era of space exploration, working alongside government agencies like NASA to develop the technologies needed to take humans into deep space. These collaborations not only boost our technological capabilities, but also spread the costs and risks, making space exploration more viable in the long run. These unexpected 8 months in space will provide invaluable data that will influence how future missions are planned and executed. From developing new types of radiation shields to improving exercise routines for astronauts, every lesson learned will be applied to make space travel safer and more efficient. These discoveries will not only help improve the lives of astronauts during their missions, but could also have applications here on Earth, in fields such as medicine and engineering. Mars is the next major goal for human space exploration, but the journey there can take up to 9 months just to arrive. What these astronauts are experiencing now is a vital precursor to these future missions. The solutions we develop to protect astronauts during their extended stay on the ISS will be crucial to ensuring that the first humans to set foot on Mars return to Earth safely. The exploration of Mars is not just a distant dream, it's an increasingly close reality, and these pioneering missions provide us with the knowledge needed to face the challenges of such a long and dangerous journey. We are learning to survive and even thrive in environments where life as we know it simply couldn't exist. Preparing for a mission to Mars goes beyond simple technical issues. The psychological and physiological challenges faced by astronauts on the ISS serve as a training ground for what lies ahead. If we can solve these problems in the controlled environment of the space station, we'll have a much better chance of success when we're millions of miles from home without the possibility of a quick return. As we watch this mission unfold, we are reminded that space exploration is fraught with risks and challenges, but also with enormous rewards. Every sacrifice made by these astronauts not only contributes to the advancement of science, but also brings us closer to a future where humanity is a multi-planetary species. The next time you look up at the stars, remember that there are people up there living in unimaginable conditions, all so that one day we can all benefit from the secrets the cosmos has to offer. If you also believe in this spirit of exploration and want to follow this fascinating journey, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.